Recorded Books and One Click Digital present Come Hell or Highball by Maia Chance. Narrated by Susie Jackson. Chapter 1. May 30th, 1923. In all fairness, my husband was the one who should have been murdered. Each of the mourners, huddled beneath dripping umbrellas around his open grave, must have itched to kill him at one point or another. That was the sort of fellow he'd been. Ginky, insufferable. Yet, it was only a heart attack that sent Alfred Woodby slinking over the Great Divide in his hand-stitched wingtips. It was someone else entirely who would get blipped off. Bastard, I mumbled, and pitched a clod of damp earth down onto Alfie's casket. My cook, Berta Lundgren, stout and stern beside me in her black rubberized raincoat, clutched the locket at her throat. "Not yet, Mrs. Woodby," she whispered in her homey Swedish accent. "Sorry," I mouthed. All eyes were upon me, glaring out in silence from beneath trickling hat brims. The ham-shaped priest on the far side of the grave made an ahem and resumed the burial rites. "Unto Almighty God we commend the soul of our brother departed, and we commit his body to the ground. Earth to earth." Chisholm Woodby, Alfie's younger brother, tossed the second chunk of soil onto the casket. Thunk. Chisholm's smooth-shaven jaw was clenched. He had the same dark, suave good looks Alfie had had. But whereas Alfie's eyes had glittered with misdemeanors real and imagined, Chisholm's face had the moral pinch of a world-class prig. Still, Chisholm surely must have dreamt from time to time of popping off Alfie, heir to the would-be millions. Ashes to ashes. Then there were Alfie's pals. Those, anyway, who'd managed to peel themselves out of bed early enough to attend a 10 o'clock funeral. These were, for the most part, dissipated playboys, inheritors of vast family fortunes and mosquito-like intellects. Fizzy Van Hoogenband, as a choice example, still wore last night's glad rags. His bow tie was unraveled, lipstick sullied his collar, and he had droops like a basset hound's under his eyes. Fizzy showered a handful of earth onto the casket. The cigarette that dangled from his lips fell into the grave, too. Mightn't one of Alfie's gin and jazz club cronies longed to whack him over cards, girls, or dinner reservations at Philippe's? Dust to dust. Which brought me to the girls. Alfie had had many weaknesses. His heart, evidently. Cashmere socks, anything gold and engraved, and chorus girls. A gaggle was in attendance at the burial. I studied them surreptitiously. Vampy, bob-haired damsels, shivering in cheap dresses, legs bare, lots of vermilion lipstick. Most of them were peroxide blondes, but one of them, short and compact like a tightrope walker, wearing black satin and a fox fur, had bordello red waves under her cloche hat. For a second, her eyes met mine. Then her gaze darted back to the casket below. Broadway was probably swarming with chorus girls who had yenned to throttle Alfie. "Mrs. Woodby," Berta whispered in my ear, "stop twitching, for goodness sake. Anyone would think you needed to visit the powder room." She straightened her hat, patted her gray bun, and trained her eyes back onto the droning priest. I flattened my lips, simulating grief. Who would buy it? The thing was, I'd been 19, only a girl, when my parents thrust me into a union with Alfie. My marriage had been a...
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.